you feel it. That quiet voice saying everyone else has it figured out, except you, that you're behind, that you're not quite enough. What if that feeling isn't a flaw? What if it's actually the hidden engine behind everything you've ever achieved? And one of the greatest psychologists in history spent his entire life proving exactly that. His name was Alfred Adler, and what he discovered might change the way you see yourself forever. Stay with me. This one matters. Alfred Adler was born in Vienna in 1870. He was a sickly child. Rickets kept him from walking until age 4. He watched his older brother run and play while he struggled just to keep up. He nearly died from pneumonia at 5. By the time he was a teenager, he had spent years feeling fundamentally less than the people around him. And here's what's remarkable. That experience didn't break him. It became the source of everything he would give to the world. Adler became one of the founding figures of modern psychology. He worked alongside Freud before breaking away to build his own school of thought. And at the very center of his work was a concept he had lived through himself, the inferiority complex. So what actually is an inferiority complex? Because the word gets misused all the time. Here's what Adler actually said, and it's radical. He believed that every single human being begins life with a deep sense of inferiority. Not some people, every person, because every person begins life as a child. Small, dependent, at the mercy of a world far bigger than they are. That feeling of smallness, of not being enough yet. He said, it is universal. The very thing you've been ashamed of is not a sign something went wrong. It's a sign you're human. But here's what most people never notice. There's inferiority feeling normal, even useful. And then there's an inferiority complex, something different entirely. The feeling says, I'm not there yet. The complex says, I'm just not enough. Full stop. One keeps you moving. The other keeps you stuck. The line between them is thinner than you think. And most people cross it without ever realizing. Will you? What does that look like in real life? The perfectionist who never finishes anything. Because if you never finish, you can never truly fail. The person who procrastinates for weeks, then finally sits down, hands slightly shaking, rushing everything at the last second. The one who always needs to be the smartest in the room. Who can't let a conversation end without subtly correcting someone. The one scrolling through their phone at midnight, chest a little tight, watching other people's highlight reels and wondering why theirs feels so dim. You probably recognize some of this. And here's what Adler noticed. People with an inferiority complex don't sit still. They move. They compensate. They strive not because they love what they're building, because they're terrified of what stopping would reveal. But the way they strive, that's where everything goes wrong, and most people never catch it. Adler called this striving for superiority. And he didn't mean it as a compliment. Think of the workaholic who hasn't taken a real day off in years. Who checks emails at 11 p.m., jaw tight, not because the work demands it, but because rest feels like weakness. Who measures their worth entirely in what they produce today. The behavior looks like ambition. Underneath, fear. Fear hiding in plain sight. The striving itself isn't the problem. The direction is everything. Healthy striving moves toward something meaning, growth, connection. Unhealthy striving moves away from exposure, away from failure, away from being truly seen. So the real question isn't, am I working hard enough? It's, what am I actually running from? Most people never stop long enough to ask. What about you? Now here's something Adler said that stopped me completely. He believed the opposite of inferiority isn't superiority, it's belonging. The deepest human need isn't to be better than others. It's to feel connected to them. To feel you have a place. That you matter not because of what you've achieved, but simply because you're here. He called this community feeling. And he saw it as the clearest sign of a healthy mind. The more you chase superiority to escape inferiority, the more isolated you become. And isolation feeds the feeling. It's a loop. A trap that looks like ambition but functions like a cage. The way out isn't to win more, it's to connect more. Most people have it completely backwards. Do you? Adler also gave us one of the most liberating ideas in all of psychology. He believed every person lives by a story they grew up believing about what makes them enough. You didn't consciously choose it. You built it in early childhood, under real emotional pressure, with the mind of a very young child. Maybe you were the youngest, always chasing, always behind. And you decided, I have to prove myself. Maybe you were the oldest, responsible, never allowed to stumble. And you decided, I must be perfect. Maybe you felt unseen, and somewhere deep down you concluded, I have to be exceptional just to be noticed. These aren't facts. They're stories, written at age 5 or 6. And most people spend their entire adult lives following rules they never once thought to question. But the moment you see the story, the moment you realize it's not truth, just an old belief, something opens up. You can rewrite it. So how do you actually start? 3 things, simple and honest. First, be curious, not critical. Look at your own story without judgment. What role did you play? The responsible one, the invisible one, the one who had to earn love, not to blame anyone, just to finally see it clearly. Second, question the belief. Ask yourself slowly, is I'm not enough actually true, or is it something I decided a long time ago and never revisited? You don't need a certain answer. Just hold the question open. Let it breathe. Third, contribute something small. Not to prove your worth, to feel connected. Listen to someone with your full attention. Show up when it would be easier not to. Offer something without needing anything back. These quiet acts rebuild the sense that you belong here, that your presence has value, regardless of your performance. Alfred Adler died in 1937, less celebrated than Freud, less quoted than Jung, but his ideas quietly shaped almost every modern approach to self-worth and human connection. Because he understood something most people spend a lifetime trying to learn. The inferiority you feel is not evidence of your unworthiness. It's evidence of your humanity. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't a verdict. It's an invitation. You were never behind. You were always in motion. That's not a comfort. That's the truth. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from. See you soon for more content.